Pillar one, pillar two, but pillar three is education and future development. Our third pillar reminds us that every investment in education is an investment in the future. And again, we're not just simply talking K 12. Education has always been one of the greatest equalizers available to our society, but it hasn't always been free. People died so we could be educated. People were whipped, people were hung, people were enslaved, people did all of those things so that we can have a right to be educated. And not because education guarantees success, but because education expands possibility. Education teaches us how to think critically. Education teaches us how to solve problems, how to communicate, how to innovate, how to lead. And our workforce continues to evolve. Technical knowledge alone will never be enough. Employers are asking for people who can collaborate. Employers are looking for people who can adapt. And that's difficult for today's age. Employers are looking for people who can think strategically, lead ethically, and build relationships. Some adults don't know how to build relationships. Those qualities begin long before someone's first day on the job. They really begin at home. And no, I'm not pointing the fingers at parents or guardians or whoever the people live with, these youth live with. That's where it begins. And then it expands to the classroom. Then it goes back to the homes. Then it expands to the community. Then it goes back to the homes. Then it expands to organizations like youth organization and faith communities. And, and then along the way, mentoring start happening. And then those relationships are built. And that's why every educator, including the parent, the coach, and the mentor, is helping to shape tomorrow's workforce. Listen, pipe down for a second. Leadership means investing in people before the world recognizes their potential. Remember the young man earlier that I was talking about? The teacher recognized his potential, but because of his external challenges outside of the school, he felt limited. She still invested in him. You're looking at a person that society had their fingers downward on, right? Because when we invest in learning, we're investing in opportunity. And when we invest in opportunity, we begin disrupting poverty one life at a time. Here's my question for you as we reflect on this pillar. Whose future are you intentionally investing in today? I want to know. I love it. Listen, I want to know. Yeah. Drop below. Let me know. Okay, pillar 4 is community impact. Listen, leadership has never been about individual achievement, ever. Leadership has always been about community. Every community tells a story. The community behind your backyard, community in your front yard, community where your parent lives, community where your father lives, if they're separated, community where your job are surrounded by your job and your school. Every community tells a story. And some tell stories of division. Absolutely. You're going to be in a 2-block radius and people can't stand each other. Other stories tell of collaboration. You see them at the neighborhood cookout, the block party, right? Some tell stories of innovation and hope. The difference is rarely geography, because in every geographic location, there are ups, downs, back, forward, plus negatives, forwards and backwards. But more often, the difference is leadership, right? I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? Communities become stronger when leaders choose collaboration over competition. Look at the most recent stories that's been out in the world. Matter of fact, today, an active U.S. Marine in full uniform, representing his family, his wife, the U.S. Marine, and everybody that he was carrying on his shoulders, went to, I think, the steps of the Capitol and held up this sign that indicated that the White House was crooked and people needed to be arrested. He knew that he was going to be arrested and probably be thrown in jail for a lifetime. But to him and to those who believe that what we're currently dealing with, not just in the economic climate, not just in the social climate, not just in the mental health climate, is wrong. That's the difference in leadership. He went alone, but he was representing his community. Shout out to him. Communities become stronger when leaders choose collaboration over competition, when organizations share resources instead of protecting them, when businesses invest locally, when residents become engaged, when public servants listen to the sound. Okay, anyway, right? When educators are supported, when families are valued. Community impact is not measured by how busy we are. And we know some people got they like the Jamaican man, their twin brother, the other brother, and their sister because they're so busy. It is measured by whether people's lives are improving, because at the end of the day, communities don't remember how many meetings we attended. They remember whether our leadership made life better. So here's the leadership reflection for this segment. If someone measured your leadership by its impact in your community, what story would they tell? A good one, a bad one, a mixed one not at all? Let us know. And our fifth pillar reminds us that leadership is both local and global. Listen, every episode this season focuses on one sustainable development goal. Oh, the fifth pillar is Agenda 2030 in action. Because I believe that leadership becomes more meaningful when we connect our local work to a larger vision for humanity. Because that's who we are, people. Yes, people have with titles of Democrat and Republican and independent and liberal and some other stuff, or they're part of Zeta Phi Beta or Phi Beta Sigma or Alpha Kappa Alpha or Alpha Phi Alpha or Omega Phi Psi or one of the other D9s, or they are Christian or Baptist or they're Muslim or they part of the Antichrist, whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all part of humanity, right? And today's focus has been Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 1, which is no poverty. At the core of SDG 1 reminds us that poverty should never be accepted as inevitable. Ever, 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 never, 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 ever. It challenges leaders to expand opportunity. It challenges leaders to strengthen systems, support families, promote economic mobility, invest in education, develop the workforce, encourage entrepreneurship, and build partnerships that create lasting change. For me, Agenda 2030 isn't simply about global aspirations. It is about local responsibilities that we tend to fall short of, and on the other hand, we're doing a great job on. It's asking ourselves, what can I do right where I am to improve someone else's future? And why? And, most oftentimes when I say that to my people around me, mainly my kids, well, mainly my daughter, she always say, well, what did they do for me? Ain't nobody reach out to me. And you want to know what? In hindsight, she is correct. But communication goes both ways. But in terms of building to help somebody else, someone did it for me. I did it for her or them, and they have a due diligence to do it for others. Because every opportunity we create, every barrier we remove, every life we strengthen moves us one step to achieving Sustainable Development Goal 1. No poverty. That's Agenda 2030 in action. So our leadership reflection question is, what action will you take today or this week to create a future where opportunity is more accessible to everyone? Did that wake you up? Because I love to learn how you're going to achieve that. One of the things I've learned throughout my leadership journey is that the most powerful lessons don't simply come from theories. Nope, not at all. They come from seeing leadership in action, role modeling, mimicking, observing, right? That's why every episode this season includes a segment called Leadership in Practice. And this is a chance to reflect on what leadership that delivers results look like in the real world. You know, today's Leadership in Practice highlights a young lady I've been following. Her name is Christine Flowers, and I don't know if she'll be listening to this or pick it up later, but if you hear it, let her know. She has been fighting to solve homelessness in Baltimore City for about 18, 20 years now. And when I'm thinking about leadership in practice, that's her, right? She run a nonprofit. She has received some type of grant or X, Y, Z, not what she wants or what she needs, but she hasn't allowed that to stop her. She does have a radio segment on WOLB, I believe. I think it comes on Tuesdays. I'm going to say at 12:30, right? And every time I turn around, you see out in the streets, crossing over into the county, back into the city, blasting public servants that's not doing what they're supposed to do. Then while praising other people while helping her do what she needs to do. Immediately when I think of